Welcome to the Soul Tide podcast. I'm Brecken.
And I'm Brittany. This is your space where we keep it raw, real, and 100% authentic.
Let's get Soul Tide, sis.
Okay, girls, welcome back to Soul Tide. We are here with Heather. She's our good friend, and we're just going to interview her and let you guys get to know her because she is just an incredible human. And we just volunteered her to be our coaches.
Yeah.
Our life coaches. Because that's the realm she's in. Like, so if that's any inclination of how the episode is going to go, you're going to want to take notes. So
yes, we told you season 2 was going to be better than ever, and we meant it. So you're actually first guest of season 2.
You are.
And we preserved until we were aligned again.
Yes,
we can't waste an episode.
No, we can't.
So that's why it took us a long time.
I didn't know I was your first one.
You are. You're the first guest of season 2. Yeah.
You guys were the best. Thanks.
We love you.
Okay, let's just get right into it.
Sure.
We want to know about you. Who's Heather? I know that's a loaded question. Kind of like your hero's journey.
Yeah.
And just tell us about yourself.
So loaded right off to be like, let's just dig in
let's
there
dive in.
Go with it. It's interesting. I think about who's Heather, and there's so many different versions of ourselves, right? It's and ironically, I feel like there's these 3 major versions of me. There's and it goes with my last name. Mm-hmm. So I was born, Heather Chessman, and that carried me all throughout my younger years and through high school until I got married. And then I was Heather Morris, and I went through all of that processing, birthing kids and my first marriage. And then I got divorced, and now I'm Heather Denler. And I can look at those 3 chapters and think of the distinct things that took place there that formed who I am today. That there's just so much in between all of that too, right?
Yes, so much in between.
I actually love I was going to say, I actually love the way that you...
That's funny. That's literally how we structured it.
Yeah. No, the way that we structured our questions and a hero's journey was literally just that. It was the beginning, who you were before, and then there's the middle, and then there's not necessarily the arrival, because we kind of talked about this earlier. Yeah. I don't think you ever really fully arrive. You evolve, you grow. But it's so interesting that you made note of those 3 pivotal people, because that's kind of how we set up the hero's journey.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But not surprising.
No,
right?
Not surprising. We're not surprised.
Not even we're not surprised.
Yeah. I'm oh.
Not surprised that we were in sync at all.
Okay, if we met you before everything changed, how would you describe that version of you? So I guess maybe Heather 1, Heather 2.
Yeah, these are different identities.
Because there are different identities and versions.
Yeah, for sure. The Heather 1 and Heather 2, I guess if you want to call it. There's a lot of similarities, right?
Okay.
Different chapters in life, but I was still trying to figure out who I was. And that I call myself I was a people pleaser to the max.
Too.
And now I'm recovering.
Yeah.
But I was people pleaser, had to do everything right. 4.0 student, don't get in trouble, make sure you're perfect, do everything by the book, make sure you go to church every Sunday, make sure don't get in trouble, do everything right. Make sure everyone likes you. If someone didn't like you, it was how can they not like me? What's wrong with me? I need to change. I must need to do something different or better. And really struggled a lot with self-confidence. A lot, I look back on that, and a lot of the decisions I made or choices I made was because I didn't love myself or think I was worthy or deserving of more. Especially a big one that comes to mind is my first marriage. I just wanted someone to love me because I didn't love myself. That drove a lot of the decisions I made. One of the reasons why I said yes to my first husband is I didn't want to be alone. And I thought I was so old. I was 20. How old was I? 22 years old.
I'm so old. My eggs are hard boiled. If I don't get married now, it's never going to happen.
I didn't know that you were only 22. Yeah. I thought at least 28 if you're saying you're old to be married.
No, but that's the craziest mind game
it is
that we play with ourselves.
Yes.
Because we have to think, or we think it has to look a certain way.
One is the culture. Part was the culture I grew up in.
Yeah.
A lot of my friends were married. Some of my friends are having babies. I was getting close-ish to graduating college. I'm if I graduate college and I'm not married, I think my life will be over. also not having the confidence of like, well, will anyone else, would anyone else want to be with me? You know, I'm tall, I'm 6 feet tall. Like, it's like, hey, I like just struggled kind of dating, I felt. And so, yeah, I got married when I was 22. I was almost 23. I liked the idea of being in love, but I look back on that and I know I wasn't really in love, but I had no way of knowing that.
Yeah.
That's one of my big moments where I look back and I totally abandoned myself because I knew that I shouldn't get married and I tried to call it off. And I went to my parents and I told them I wanted to call off the wedding. My parents encouraged me not to. And it's been really cool because I've been able to talk to my parents about that. And I've told them, I'm like, I don't blame you at all. That was not your responsibility to like, you had no idea how I was feeling, but I did. But I didn't want to disappoint. And I thought that I was just being dramatic or just nervous. But looking back, I shouldn't have felt that way. I should have known like this, I should feel calm inside. I should feel peaceful. I should know like I'm doing the right thing instead of like fearful and scared and doing it for reasons that I look like were not right.
Yeah.
But only like I knew that. So that was my responsibility. And I abandoned myself big time.
It's really interesting when you were saying that because isn't like part of your journey in uncovering who you are today? I feel like a lot of what you say I can relate to. And it's this sense of like wanting to please other people and doing the right thing and not doing anything wrong. And it's almost like that's in a way, like, how am I trying to say it? Almost that I feel like how you navigated like feeling like you shouldn't get married. You almost talked yourself out of it. And I feel like we lose sight of who we are when we do all of that. Is that what I'm trying to say? Like for
Like if you do
when you were when you were leaning into all of those other roles that you felt like you needed to fulfill, you were losing sight of who you were, and who you were was saying like, this isn't right and I shouldn't feel this way. And it's so interesting because I think we all can relate to that.
Yeah, I absolutely think we can, because there's times where when we don't like know ourselves, like I didn't know who I was. And I don't even know if I really knew what I wanted, but I thought I knew what I wanted by what everyone else was either like modeling for me or telling me, or what I observed. I'm like, oh, this is what I should be doing. And there's a lot of shoulds in there instead of like, what do I want? But things were so laid out for me in whatever the culture, church, family, whatever it is. It's like, this is what you do. So I'm like, well, where was the room for the choice in that? Like, I don't know if I felt at the time, like I look back, I'm like, well, no, I was doing what I thought I was supposed to do, but was there like a lot of choice? It's so interesting because we like look back on these things like marriage, kids, or whatever it is, and like, I wouldn't change it at all.
Yeah.
So it's like getting to that place where you like, yes, it can still hurt, or it can be painful, or you're upset, or all these type of things that happen in our life. But then that like acceptance piece, but like I wouldn't change it because I wouldn't be where I'm at today.
100%.
Like I would not change, like I would not have my kids.
Yeah, totally.
Like
there's nothing you wouldn't do.
no, like I'd do it all over again, right?
Yep.
Or I wouldn't know what it felt like to abandon myself if I hadn't done it.
And appreciate who you are now.
Yeah.
And who you've uncovered and found or refound along the way, you know?
Right. Or I wouldn't have known what I didn't want in a relationship so badly that I could look for it again. I didn't know. I didn't know what it felt like to like not be supported in my role as a mom, or to not have a partner that was emotionally available to me. I wouldn't have known what that felt like. And now I do.
That's huge. Yeah. What do you feel like is something you wish someone would have told you sooner when you were in that space?
I wish I could have seen myself the way other people saw me, because it took me a long time to like see that and to like own it and to be like okay with me. I spent so much time just like trying to be small, trying not to be seen. It was like my goal in high school to try and get from one class to the next without being seen. Like I just don't look at the 6 foot tall girl.
I was like, well, that would be hard given.
It would. Okay, but I want to know like things that you've done to get you to this place, because like you demand a room when you walk in. Truly, not in a like
no, it's
look at
true.
me kind of way. It is like this quiet confidence that I think we all look up to.
But it's like look at me kind of way. Like we all can't help.
We all but can't help.
Yeah,
like,
no,
you're
literally.
stunning, but also
Yes.
it's like an energetic thing.
Yeah.
Like it is so expansive, and like I'm wondering what you have done to get to that place and kind of how that's unfolded for you. Like the in between this Heather 1 and 2 and now like shifting into who you are now and becoming.
Yeah, that's a good question. So in my first marriage, I remember feeling like I'm all right. Like I'm pretty good. Like I felt like I was a good mom. I felt like I was a really good wife. Like, but that was part of that people pleasing or perfectionism. Like the part that kind of like held me back was I felt like the person that should see me the most, being my first husband, didn't see me.
Yeah, you get that.
And so it just was, it kind of just like messed with my psyche a lot. Well, other people are telling me this, and I think I feel this, but like, why don't I feel like you feel that way? And I really let that like affect how I felt about myself, how I showed up. I became really introverted, just didn't have a lot of like confidence. And then of course, as things like unfolded and there was a lot of hard things in that marriage, it really like, it beat me up pretty good emotionally. It was almost like though, from the moment that we were getting a divorce, which I just have to tell you, I just have to say it. I got a text message that he wanted a divorce. So I got the text message, and I remember I was in the car driving my kids when I got the text message. And that moment it was done. And there's a lot of in between that stuff, but it was done.
Yeah.
And from there, it was like rebuilding or building like who I was. And realizing like I am okay and I'm more than okay and I am enough and I have a lot to offer. And whether I find someone or not, like I'm gonna be okay. During that whole process too, I really started to question my religion. And I had been questioning it for a couple of years before that, but this really started to go a lot deeper with it. And stepping away from my religion and doing it with confidence and doing it that I knew that I was doing what's best for me was like, I was like owning it, gave me so much confidence because I didn't care what anyone thought. I didn't care what my neighbors thought. I didn't care what the people that I had been, like surrounded by. Sure. It was such a confidence boost for me. And I slowly just started to gain back like my confidence and I started to get to know myself.
Yeah, you listened to these little pings that, may have been there along the way, but I feel like the noise, I'll speak for me, the noise blocks the intuition a lot of the time. And so when I don't know how to decipher that, it gets really confusing. And I think the more you lean into those pings, I think the more confidence you get and the more you show up differently. And like it's like a domino effect,
Totally. Because like you start to trust yourself. And then you stop looking outside places for like validation or what should I do. And it's not to say like you don't talk to people and like talk about things, but there's so many times like I'm having a conversation and someone will say something that I may or may not agree with it, but it'll bring something up in me like, oh, this is what I need to do. Like this is what feels right.
Yeah.
And I've learned to listen more and more. I still mess up a time or two.
Don't we all? I'm like,
Nobody's perfect. Literally. It's so hard to
so hard.
Actually, I'm going to backtrack. I feel like it's always very simple, but it's the noise and the chatter and we make it harder than it has to be. Yeah. And like, obviously it's complex sometimes, but like the answer is usually pretty clear. It's just not always convenient.
Absolutely. And I think when you said that about the answer being clear, I was thinking like, as I started to go through my divorce and it was so hard, as anyone knows that's been through a divorce or anything, it's just that life that you thought you were going to have just dissolves overnight. And even if it was a hard marriage or whatever things were going, like for me, it was the thought of not having my kids all the time.
Oh yeah. Well, you still have to grieve that part of your life that didn't go the way that you thought it did, whether it was for the right reasons or the wrong reasons. Like I think we all can relate to that in some way, shape, or form, where we've had previous marriages that for me, it like wasn't aligned in so many different ways. And stepping away from it was still one of the hardest things I had to do. It was complex and there were layers and we have a child together and you have to process all of that. And that's hard.
It's so hard.
you like start from ground zero. I feel like many times in my life, it's like I'm here, and then I go through something and I shed all the freaking layers and I deconstruct it all and I start back here. And then I rebuild a little bit taller, or a little bit bigger, or whatever. But it's like, it's all for me a learning opportunity. And it's just stepping stones to uncover who I am. But it's a hell of a ride.
Well, and during that whole process too, like leaving the church and
Mhm.
figuring things out, it's like part of like your spirituality or whatever that is
Sure,
for so many
sure.
people, right? And so what does that mean to me?
Yeah.
What does that look like? It didn't look like what I had looked like for years.
Sure.
And so really finding a new space where I could like tap into that spirituality and find like what I did believe in and what did feel true to me, and like deconstructing all of that at the same time.
I'm curious, like, what was your like moment where you're like, there's so much more? Like your awakening of like, oh my gosh. Like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
When did your world open?
I remember exactly when it opened. I was like almost 8 months into my divorce and I was struggling. Like I just didn't know if I'd ever feel happiness again, really having a hard time not having my kids all the time.
Yeah.
Like that's what I had, like just every time they would leave, it was like ripping my heart out, like to see him go. And like, is this really like what's going to happen? But I had a friend that was like, hey, I have this like healing space that you can come be a part of. So really just entering into this like healing space, heart opening space, really started to look at like different modalities of healing, breath work, different things like that. Through this community, I realized like I started to feel hope, love, which I hadn't felt in a long time. And it didn't mean that like from that moment, like everything was magically cured, but I knew that things were going to work out.
It was like an inner knowing.
It was an inner
Yeah.
knowing. And from there, I was like, I think I'm going to find my person. And I really wanted to like find love. Like I wanted to like be in a relationship. It just felt like this part of me that I was like, I don't know. I don't know. From there, like just so many cool experiences and like things just started to like open up, just like really trusting. And that's like when I started peeling back the layers.
So many of them. Like, and you're like, okay, it's still going. It's just.
Yeah, lots of layers, lots of layers, but like so much magic too. What I had thought was like, what I had identified as spiritual for so many years, like just took on a completely new meaning or a new relationship with it or a new understanding of it. And it was really cool to like step into.
I was on a call the other day with one of my mentors and she was talking about like changing when it changes from understanding to like understanding. It's like going inward and you're like, this whole world opens up because you understand yourself now. It's not just like this knowing things. It's like really being embodied in it. And that like struck me so deep because I'm like, yeah, eventually it turns to that point where you're like, I get it. It's starting to make sense. The layers make sense and it's unfolding how it should. And it's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that. I often think like part of that like confidence piece or like that understanding that you talked about is knowing that like how I feel like it's true for me and it doesn't matter what anyone else says and it's my truth. And so someone else can feel differently or have a different understanding or a different truth and be in a place where like I'm confident enough to be like, I love that and that's true for you and this is my truth and we can both be right. And like coming to that space. And that's where I feel like just that like love and that human compassion that we have for one another, because I'm not looking for anyone else to like tell me what's right or wrong. I just kind of know what feels good to me. And I'm also open to like, well, today I believe this and tomorrow I might have an experience.
It could be different.
And I can totally change my mind.
I believe in God.
Yeah. We're like knee deep in combo one time and for a while we had a convo. I was like, do you believe in God? And that was a whole process, right? She's like, I don't know. One day we're like having a conversation. She's like telling me about something. She's like, and by the way, I believe in God. And then anyways, and she keeps going and I'm like, can you expand on that? Can we talk more? It's just like so funny.
But it's so
to your point.
It's true though. Like you can change your mind at any point and like it's true for you. And so it works.
But that's also very liberating to be like, I don't have to stay stuck. I don't have to make this one choice and stay on this path. And I think a lot of us have grown up in a space or a culture where it feels that way. And I've got to give you credit, because coming from a space of feeling like you had to please everybody to being in a space of this inner knowing and being okay with who you are and confident in who you are and your decisions, I would argue to say probably attracts more people to you because you're showing up exactly as you versus trying to be everything for everybody else, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, don't get me wrong. Sometimes I still catch myself and I'm like, oh,
We all do.
wait,
We all do.
It's part of it.
why am I doing this? You know, I can like check myself like, okay, wait, is this like, do I want to do this? Am I trying to show up or like be a certain way? Doing what I want to do and like has helped me gain so much confidence. And also like having a partner that like supports me and like gives me the freedom and just like, you be you.
Yeah.
Like I'll support you in whatever you want to do. Like just go be you. When there's moments where I like maybe start to doubt myself a little bit, or if I'm like, can I do this? Or, you know, do you really think this is like what I'm supposed to be doing? And he's always like, yeah, you've got this. So there's times, you know, we doubt ourselves still.
Of course. We're not perfect, you know?
No.
He's so sweet.
He really is the best.
He really is.
They're just a power couple. And he makes some damn good cookies.
Oh, the cookies.
I remember when I got my surgery, and the only thing I talked about incessantly was those cookies.
That's hilarious.
They're so good.
I have some in the freezer for you when you're
Thank
done.
you. I love that for us. Do you get sick of them at this point?
I eat a lot of the cookie dough. It's
Oh,
a
yeah.
problem.
Honestly, that would be my issue too.
How do you hold space now for others because of what you've been through?
Well, with my coaching,
Yeah.
that was something that am pretty passionate about, and I decided to like do the course and coach some people, and I just love being able to listen and just allow people to like to come to their own conclusions, right? And so
You're so good at that.
So good at that.
You just
Sometimes it's a mind death,
and then
though, right?
I walk myself in the circle. I'm like, oh, you're so amazing, Heather. As you're just like, yes. It's like a skill.
It is a skill.
Bringing people back to themselves.
Yes.
thank you.
Yeah.
Took time to like realize like, oh, this is something I'm good at, or I can be there for, or hold space for others. And I love people. I do. And I love getting to know people. And everyone has like, the more you get to know someone and you hear their story, you're like, oh my gosh, they're amazing. Every person's amazing.
Yeah.
And has been through a lot of stuff. And like no two people are the same. And there's so much to learn from every person that I come in like contact with, just through their experiences. And I love hearing people's perspectives. I'm like, why do you think that? Or why do you feel that way? Or why do you believe that? Like, I always want to like understand more.
So I feel like a lot of people will stay in a marriage because of the fear of not being able to see their kids and the pain that comes with that. What got you through that time? And also how, like, what's some advice you could give? Yeah. Yeah. What advice can you give to people in that situation?
I have so much respect for people that are able to leave a relationship when they're just like, it doesn't serve them any longer. I went through a long process, a lot of work forgiving myself for not leaving. Why I didn't love myself enough or value myself enough or like know that I deserved more, but also giving myself a lot of grace for it too. One of the most painful things I can remember was the night that we told our kids that we were getting divorced. The way I describe it is it hurt so bad. I was just gonna like disintegrate into the thin air. Like I just thought I was going to die because I couldn't take hurting my kids. And I was in my mind, I'm like, this is why I never could have done anything. And I remember that night, I literally begged my soon-to-be ex-husband to stay with everything in me. I'm like, please, like, and he said no. And then when he left the room, I remember just crying, like, why did I do that? Like, I knew I didn't want to be with him. But in that moment, I was like, I'm fine. I can take it. I can handle anything, like anything to not hurt my kids, anything to take this pain away from my kids. I'll do it. And then I was so mad at myself. Like, why did you do that? Like, you look at you, like you were going to abandon yourself again. Like if he would have said yes, like you would have stayed, and he didn't. So I have so much respect for people when they're able to do that. Because at that time in my life, that just, I don't know, for whatever reason, I wasn't able to do that. And now, as I went like going through that process, there's still like it's the one of the challenging things is like I'm happy. I'm happily remarried. He's amazing, and my life feels great. But it's like the kids, like I don't know if they would think their life is better, like going back and forth, you know, having to share time, having divorced parents. But what I hope that my kids will see is that like we made the most of it, to not be stuck in something if it's truly not serving you.
Yeah.
And so I hope my kids can see that. I always say now my kids get to see two different ways of being brought up. They
Sure.
get to go to their dads and they get to come here. And things are very different. And they can get now they get to kind of pick and choose, like take things from both that maybe they like or they don't like. I don't know, whatever it is. You know, most of us we just grew up in one house and we think
thing, it was one way. I know.
and so maybe we think it's like I look back, like growing up, I'm like, oh, I thought that's how everyone did it in my household.
right?
You know, I thought that's what everyone did. Like I thought everyone's parents were like that. And I grew up in a great home. My parents were super loving. I just thought that's how everyone's family was.
Sure.
So now I get like the good side, like my kids get to see different things. I tell them you get to be loved by a lot more people and they get to see a different relationship.
Well, I think they can attract a different relationship because I feel like hearing you tell your story got me really emotional because I know what it feels like to literally make someone choose you that won't. And then beating yourself up because you should have respected yourself more, loved yourself more, all the things. And it's a very fine line that you walk when you navigate that. And had my ex said yes, I would have stayed. And I have to remind myself in a lot of hard moments that, like, had we stayed together, would my daughter have a mom and a dad under the same roof? Same mom, same dad? Yeah. But on the reciprocating end, the amount of toxicity she saw in that relationship, the amount of pain and anger and deep, dark shadows that were in my home and the stuff that she was exposed to, I think that she would have recreated that. And so I've learned that I have to focus on, to your point, she gets a choice now in what she chooses to attract. And that doesn't mean we always make the right choice, but I don't even know if that's the correct verbiage because what is right and wrong. But the contrast is not a bad thing. It's been a blessing for us. And that hasn't come without its hard moments and hard days. I mean, but staying would have been harder. And I think that in that moment of me abandoning myself, I'm grateful my ex made a choice for me so that my daughter got to see different versions of what I didn't see growing up. I mean, I grew up without a dad. I had a single mom for a lot of my life and a brief stint with a stepdad. And so I had no idea what it looked like. I had no idea what a mom and a dad looked like or how it was supposed to be treated or anything. And I can so relate to your story because I feel like I didn't know who I was and I met my ex when I was 19. I don't regret any of it. Don't regret any of it. And I'm grateful that I can give my daughter a little bit more perspective than I had. And I think your kids have that blessing. And sometimes it might feel not like one, but there's a lot to be grateful for in that as well, you know?
Yeah. And when you were talking, it reminded me too, like, I don't know if you feel this way, but I feel like I am a much better mom now, being in a place where I have like more self-love, more confidence. I'm in a place where my beliefs have shifted. I parent so different and feel like I show up a lot better. Or I shouldn't say it was ever wrong before, just different, I guess, different. Not holding my kids to these like expectations I had held them to for the first part of, you know, when I was raising them. And then when we kind of shifted and stepped away, and then I just feel like I show up a lot better.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally can understand that. I just feel like I hear your story and I'm like, I relate to so much of it. Like, you know, and it's to your whole point that you were saying earlier, you just don't know what people have gone through.
No, we have no idea. And like every person has their story. But then it's so interesting because so many things at the root of it, a lot of it's the same. Self-love, trying to find ourselves or wanting to be accepted.
Yeah.
That acceptance piece. So sometimes we make choices out of fear of not being accepted or loved. And it all kind of comes down to like that. How different would our decisions have been when we were younger if we would have had all the self-love or know what we deserved or like didn't put up with certain things or weren't afraid of not pleasing our parents or pleasing our friends or pleasing our neighbors or whatever it is, or the church or whatever it is. And at the same time, we have to go through all that to experience it and to know, because we literally learn everything through our experiences.
Yeah.
And then as a mom, we
You're
try,
like, again, there's more.
and then as a mom, we try to like have our kids not go through their experiences.
I know.
And we want to,
take
and I'm like,
it.
"Hi."
Yeah.
We know better, you know, but
I know. That is tricky. Like if they're going through something at school or whatever, it's like that initial like mama bear reaction. It's like, whoa, take a step back.
yeah.
And we're like, I have young kids. I can't even imagine older kids just navigating all of that and not wanting to take it from them it's a lot, I'm sure.
It's been one of the like more challenging parts of being a mom is like knowing that everyone has to have their experiences, but not my kids. I'm going to sit there.
We're
like,
all exempt. No,
It's for everyone else, but not my kids, because I'm going to protect you. And you're going to learn from my mistakes so that you don't make these mistakes and you can avoid all the pain and the hurt and the stuff that's out there. And then knowing that that's like, had I not gone through all of those things in my life, like I wouldn't be where I'm at. And I'm constantly like in that space with my kids, like I'm going to protect you. And then it's like, you get to have your experiences.
Totally. It's like a tug of war.
It is tug of war. Yeah.
Because like we know.
Yeah, we do.
But then to actually like allow it sometimes.
So you had a career ending injury in college. You were playing basketball at BYU, correct? Yes. And so like badass basketball player.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering how that experience has shaped your life, or like the experience with it, or like if you're ever taking back to it. I said that because when your daughter, I keep seeing her on your stories and I'm like, I wonder if that like is so fulfilling for you to watch her, especially since like everything you've been through.
Yeah.
It's not like a living through them in like a toxic kind of way. It's like a, wow, it's so fun to watch you given my experience and just all of that. I want to hear about it. We want to hear about it.
Yeah. So all 4 of my kids play basketball, and which is wild because when I had kids, I was like, I exposed them to everything but basketball. I'm like, you can do whatever you want. Like there's so many things out there. Like I didn't want my kids to feel like they had to play basketball because I played in college. My sisters played in college. My dad played in college. Like my brother, like we were a basketball family, and I was just like, you guys can do whatever you want. And all my kids like naturally picked up basketball. So all 4 of them play.
So wild.
And I shouldn't say it's a curse, but it's a blessing. And it's like one of those things is like, I know, like I can like feel all the things they're going through. And it's not just the games, it's the stuff off the court. It's the practices. It's the time you put in. It's the disappointments. It's the highs, the lows. It's all of it. Knowing like that was some of like the best days of my life playing basketball. Like I have so many great memories. And most of the memories are actually not even the games. It's like the friendships and the things I learned from playing. But I had a goal in high school that I wanted to play college basketball. And there was only one college in mind. I was so narrow-minded. And I was like, I only want to go to BYU. And it was like my dream. And my dad had played at BYU. That was like my goal. And I worked super, super hard. And I committed to BYU and signed before my senior year of high school. Was going with my teammate. We played high school together. We were going to BYU together. I had other teammates there. My high school team was really good. And I redshirted my first year, played my freshman year. And then my sophomore year, my sister was on the team as well. And it was halfway through the season and I got hurt in practice. I got hit in the head and then hit my head up on the back standard at the Marriott Center and had a concussion, and I bruised my spinal cord. So my spinal cord knocked up against my vertebrae up in my neck and caused temporary paralysis. The ambulance came, they strapped me down to the board. They're like, couldn't really figure out what was going on, took me to the emergency room, then admitted me when they figured out what was going on, that I couldn't move my arms and legs. And it was terrifying at the time. I mean, I was like 20 years old in a hospital room. Like, I had just been playing basketball. And the craziest thing too, the ironic thing was I was playing the best basketball of my life. Like everything was clicking. I remember being on the court. I'm like, oh, I'm getting it. Like that big learning curve going into college. I was playing really, really good. I had just come off of my best game I'd ever played in. I didn't miss a shot. And I was like on this high, like playing the best basketball. And I was like, I'm going to fight like hell to play again. Like I'm going to show everyone. I'm going to be like the comeback story. Like the doctor said I'd make a full recovery. Yeah. And my team went to the Sweet 16 this year. I was strong enough to be able to travel with them at that point. And then I did all my rehab. And when it came down to it, and I went back to the doctors, they're like, we're not going to clear you to play. I was like, you told me I could play again. And they're like, no, too risky. And at that point, like my whole life had been about basketball. Like that was like my whole identity. And I was like, well, what do people do if they don't play basketball?
No, yeah.
And I was like, do people just like go to school?
They get married at 20.
They don't have two-a-days. They don't condition themselves so hard. Yeah, that would be earth-shattering.
Yeah.
And I was living with all my teammates, and I was just like, well, what do I do? I was like, the first time, like I kind of like entered, like I was like, I look back on, like I was super depressed. Yeah. Like, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know like what to do with my free time. So I got a job, because I guess that's what you do. Yeah. You get a job.
Real people, okay, we get jobs.
I go to school, I get a job.
Yes.
I actually got a job the day I found out I couldn't play basketball anymore. I got a job that day because I was like, I'm just
of course,
something.
she's like, if I'm not gonna
overachiever.
do that, I'm gonna go get a job day one.
I did, and then that's like that kind of started the I didn't have a lot of confidence outside of basketball because that's like where my confidence was. But like outside of basketball, I didn't have a lot of confidence in like dating or other aspects of my life. And as I've gone through hard things, as other things came up right in life that were hard, kids, pregnancies, pregnancies were really hard, different things like that. I could always kind of like anchor back to that. And I was like, well, I did this, like I can do anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I would say sometimes I'm like, ooh, I'd rather go do that again than some of these other hard things.
Which reminds me, we didn't even talk about your birth experience and pregnancy and stuff, which this makes me think we need a part 2.
I wonder if we should do part 1, part 2.
Okay. I think so.
Okay. I love that idea.
Totally.
Okay. Sure.
You're like, fine, we'll do it.
Okay.
So stay tuned for a part 2.
Stay tuned. Yeah. Thank you guys for being here.
Yes,
thank you, Heather, for being
Thank you,
willing.
Heather.
Of course. This is like just so fun to talk with you guys. You guys are so great.
So fun. This is why we love it.
I know.
We love connecting with like our friends, and it's very fulfilling.
Mm-hmm. And you've said so many things.
Oh my
so
gosh,
many people need to hear
oh
today,
yeah,
truly. So thank you, and we'll see you next time.
Let's get soul tied, sis. You guys, we crushed it.
And that's a wrap on today's episode. We hope that you felt seen, heard, and maybe even a little empowered. If you loved today's combo, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your girls.
Let's keep this Soul Tide community growing. Until next time, stay true, stay bold, and most importantly,
Stay you. Love you, mean it. Bye.